Good evening and welcome to I-24 News Defense, your weekly review of strategic affairs, security intelligence and more, brought to you in cooperation with the Israel Defense Magazine. Tonight we'll discuss the huge challenges of hosting the World Cup. We will pay tribute to 30 years of the Israeli Space Agency with Yaakov Peri, the Minister of Science and Technology, and we'll learn about the unique skills of llamas. But before that, let's take a look at what else is happening in the world.
We begin in Iraq. After taking control of the country's second largest city, Mosul, militants of the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant are intensifying their attacks on Tikrit, the hometown of late Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein. Iraqi soldiers have been accused of deliberately fleeing and even cooperating with the jihadists. According to the UN, over 500,000 civilians have fled the combat zones. The militants' goal is to create a territorial continuity with the border with Syria and establish a de facto caliphate. Moving to Japan, Australia's Defence Minister David Johnson said while visiting Tokyo that the government is interested in Japan's stealth submarines, though there are concerns about the cost. The Soyuz submarines, powered by silent-running diesel-electric propulsion systems, would give Australia a naval force that could reach deep into the Indian Ocean. And Israeli aerospace industries have released the first footage of the Harop, its latest unmanned combat vehicle. This killer hunter is designed to hover over the battlefield and destroy targets by diving on them. Another task of this new drone is to fight enemy air defences. The Harop will be presented at the Eurosatory International Defence and Security Exhibition in Paris next week.
The eyes of the world are on Brazil, the host of the World Cup, with hundreds of thousands of tourists arriving to watch their favorite team and a growing unrest in the country. Security forces are on high alert. More in this next report.
Brazil is taking few chances when it comes to security, with the country still rattled by mass protests and labor strikes shadowing the world's most popular sporting event. Leaders of Brazilian security forces held a press conference at the Open Media Center at the Copacabana Port in Rio de Janeiro, where FIFA has set up base.
Our priority is the stadiums. Our contingent will be focused on the stadiums, because if not, Rio de Janeiro would be transformed into a GLO state.
While some 100,000 police officers are on patrol throughout Brazil's 12 host cities, a further 57,000 soldiers, sailors, and other troops have been deployed, coordinated jointly at command centers in each host city.
The fan fests are an important focus for the public security. I am sure of it. We have had many discussions with the Secretary of Security of Rio de Janeiro. The military police of Rio de Janeiro is in very good condition. You can rest at ease that they will be able to resolve any problem.
Overall, the government is investing about $850 million in security. Now, this covers everything from protecting the 32 teams to containing street protests, airspace surveillance, and protection against cyber and terrorist threats.
Joining us now is Ron Shafran, Vice President of ISDS, which took part in major sports events such as the Olympic Games in Athens and Beijing. Good evening.
Good evening, Adas.
So what are the challenges that the forces are facing now?
Okay, before I start about the challenges, I would like to wish the Brazilian community and beautiful country to win not only at the final match, but to win in the in hosting these games. They have the opportunity to show the world what amazing country. Second thing is that the people in charge on security are doing with the limit, with the tools that they got. They're doing a beautiful and amazing job. The biggest challenge in such event is in a very short time to fuse all the elements and create one effective system to prevent any act against people. You take the federal level, state level, prefectura level, and then there is the organization level, in this case FIFA, and everything needs in a very short time to react and act as one body. And
What are the threats, these specific threats for the World Cup this year?
This year
terrorism, protests.
It's all the three. The main issues is crime, which is not new in Brazil, and they know how to deal with this threat, and it's there and it will be there. The civil unrest, which started 1 year ago, is a big threat, not only because the potential damage, which we all the time measure by the potential damage, but the threat there, it's that it's very difficult to detect when such things starts, because effective security is always to detect and to prevent, and here, unlike we saw in the Arab Spring, it's very complicated to detect, and of course always because these events is a global event, the terror threat, it's there, the potential damage is huge, and the system that I spoke before needs to operate in front of all these three.
What is your company's role?
Our role is in general in two major issues. One is the concept of operation of the security, building the structure of command and control and the effectiveness of the forces. And the second level is implementing technologies. We are very involved in high-tech solutions, and I can say in this event, we were part 3 years ago of the main first event, FIFA event in Rio de Janeiro, in Marina da Glória. And what is known is that Israelis it's the startup nation, right? Everyone knows, but not a lot of people know how Brazil are open-minded and love technology and accept. And
yes,
I can
but the challenges are huge. Ron Shafran, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Adas.
And now for something completely different. Bargain Batman may not be the hero the men and women in Afghanistan need, but it's the one they got, veiled under a cloak of valor and idiocracy, mediocrity, and poor table manners. Let's watch.
What are you doing, soldier? Don't you know that putting that kind of food in your body is going to make you slow and weak? Now, doesn't that look better?
It does, Bargain Batman.
Sure, you'll be making better choices when you come to chow, right? Where's your weapon?
I don't know, Bargain Batman.
Where's your weapon?
I left it behind. I didn't want to carry it.
Are you gonna forget your weapon again?
No, Bargain Batman, I swear.
Swear to me!
Incoming.
Never wear your headphones while you're running.
I'm sorry, Batman. I swear I'll never do it again.
Swear to me!
The Israeli Space Agency is marking its 30th anniversary, and joining us now from Tel Aviv is Yaakov Peri, the Israeli Minister of Science and Technology and former head of Israeli Shin Bet. Good evening, Mr. Peri.
Good evening, Hadas.
What are the Israeli Space Agency's goals?
Well, the Space Israeli Agency is the coordinator and in charge of the Israeli space industry. The agency is in charge of the international relations between the space agencies all over the world. The agency is also in charge of bringing space to the Israeli youth, to the Israeli community, and we are celebrating nowadays 30 years to the establishment of the agency.
Do we have the capabilities to match the goals?
Of course, the results of Israeli activity in the space is really amazing and outstanding. Israel is considered to be one of the 8 countries leading in the world in the space industry, and we are still going to surprise in the near future.
As former head of Israeli Shin Bet, how can Israel use the space capabilities in the field of security and intelligence?
Well, Well, I cannot elaborate on security issues. I can just assure you that the uses for military purposes are giving amazing results, and we are very satisfied from the activity of Israel in the space, and we hope that we will be able to just progress it and to bring more.
Recently, Israel launched the satellite Ofek 10. Does it give real-time coverage on enemy soil?
I'm not going to elaborate on the results. I just can tell you that Ofek 10 is operating for the last almost 4 months, and we are very satisfied from the results.
If we take NASA, for example, a highly estimated and talked agency, when it comes to Israeli agency, we don't hear much about it. Is it because we don't do as much?
No, on the contrary, we are not after publicity. We are after doing things, and the contribution of the agency to the Israeli space industry, to the community, to the image of Israel as a leading country among the countries who are dealing with space is really very, very satisfactory.
Where are we located as far as capabilities compared to other agencies in the world?
As I mentioned, Israel is one of the 8 leading countries of the world in what concerns space, and in some aspects and in some components we are number 1.
If I may, Mr. Perry, a political question. Minister of Finance Yair Lapid said this week Israel should aspire for a divorce agreement with the Palestinians. Do you share the same opinion?
Yes, absolutely. I think that a decent divorce is much better than a happy marriage.
A miserable one.
A miserable marriage, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mr. Perry, thank you so much.
Thank you, Adas.
For years, military fighting dogs have been an integral part of the Israeli army, but in the past, there were other species of animals that contributed their share. One of them is the llama. Liran Musli with the story.
Meet Carmela. In recent weeks, she's been in a training camp that will allow her to become an operational llama, one that can contribute her unique abilities to the army.
The problem of special forces around the world is that in any doctrine, they will have to spend 48 hours in enemy territory until supplies will arrive. So they have to carry food, water as well as advanced equipment on their backs. A good solution are the llamas.
Unlike donkeys, the llama needs only 1 liter of water per day and are satisfied with a minimal amount of food.
If you want to take an animal with you, you want one that needs minimal energy sources and take as much as possible for the soldiers. The llama comes from a difficult living zone and can keep walking in minus 20 degrees as well as 45 degrees Celsius, and that makes it ideal for the role.
Jaffa has served in special units of the IDF and has been working with llamas in recent decades. Along with senior officers, he integrated the llamas into the IDF in the 90s. Their combination of unique skills and blind loyalty made the llamas ideal for long-distance equipment carrying, especially in enemy territory.
They can carry a third of their body weight. A llama weighing 150 kilos can carry 50 kilos. The trained ones can carry much more.
With a body covered with wool, a llama can hide soldiers against thermal observation devices. Natural peace of mind and disciplines are other huge advantages. For example, a llama can crawl into narrow camouflage tents and can accompany soldiers in battle.
This animal will follow you through fire and water if it feels part of the team. It will continue moving even under fire. It sees things that the human eye can't spot. One can't approach soldiers if they have llama. It will sound an alarm if it spots someone hundreds of meters from it.
The exertion of llama proved itself in the Lebanese mountains during the Second Lebanon War, but was also criticized.
If you are not trained to drive a jeep, don't take the wheel. In the Second Lebanon War, some of the forces were not skilled in using llamas and loaded them incorrectly. Some of the llamas turned over on their backs. It was the operator's fault, not the llamas.
Unlike in the past, today very few forces in the world and Israel are using llamas, but Ofer still believes that one day the llamas will once again become an integral part of the IDF.
And that is all we have time for. Be sure to catch us next week for another edition of I24 News Defense. For all the latest headlines, log on to www.i24.tv. Have a great night from Jaffa Port.